Hit the subscribe button. Currently only 1.7% of my viewers are subscribed. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll release an exclusive special video. Just for you. Dr. Emily Carter's eyes snapped open to the harsh glare of an unnatural light flooding her bedroom. Heart racing, she stumbled out of bed and peered through the window, where an ominous fleet of alien ships descended upon New Sydney's skyline. The city's normally tranquil night was now filled with deafening roars and panicked screams. "Emily, what's happening?" her colleague, Dr. Sarah Mitchell, called out from the next room, her voice trembling with fear. Emily took a deep breath, her mind racing to comprehend the situation. "We're under attack. It's Zorath. We need to stay calm and find a way to communicate with the Earth Defense Council." Before she could take another step, a beam of light shot through the window, enveloping her and Sarah. The room dissolved into blinding whiteness, and within moments, they were aboard an alien vessel, surrounded by terrified women and imposing alien guards. The sight of the alien soldiers, clad in sleek black armor and wielding advanced weaponry, was enough to make Emily's blood run cold. She recognized the symbols on their uniforms immediately. They were agents of the Galactic Emperor Zorath, a name synonymous with fear across the galaxy. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as she scanned the faces of the other abducted women, her mind working frantically to formulate a plan. "Stay strong, everyone," she said, trying to infuse her voice with confidence. "We will find a way out of this." Meanwhile, thousands of kilometers away, in the heart of Earth's most secure facility, the Earth Defense Council's headquarters was a hive of frantic activity. Holographic screens displayed live footage of the abductions, and the faces of the world's greatest minds reflected a mix of shock and determination. Captain Jake Reynolds, a decorated space marine known for his unyielding courage and strategic brilliance, stood at the center of the chaos. His rugged features were set in a mask of resolve as he reviewed the incoming reports. "Captain Reynolds, we have confirmation," a technician called out. "The abductions are the work of Zorath. Dr. Emily Carter and several other prominent women have been taken." Jake's jaw tightened, his mind flashing back to the day Zorath's forces had decimated his home colony, leaving nothing but destruction in their wake. This mission wasn't just another assignment, it was personal. "Prepare the Athena," Jake ordered, referring to the state-of-the-art stealth ship designed for covert operations. "We're bringing them home." As the team assembled, Jake briefed them on the mission. Dr. Lena Harris, a genius engineer whose inventions had revolutionized space travel, was already working on ways to bypass Zorath's formidable security systems. Beside her stood Zara, an alien diplomat who once allied with Zorath but had since turned against him due to his oppressive rule. "This isn't just another mission," Jake said, his voice carrying the weight of his personal vendetta. "This is our chance to strike back at Zorath and rescue our people. We leave in an hour. Be ready." Lena, eyes sparkling with excitement and determination, chimed in. "I've designed a cloaking device that should get us past their outer defenses. We'll need to move fast and stay under the radar." Zara's expression was more somber. "Zorath wasn't always a tyrant," she said quietly, her voice tinged with regret. "But his ambition consumed him. We need to be prepared for anything." As the team boarded the Athena, the mood was tense but resolute. The sleek, high-tech design of the ship hummed with power as it prepared for takeoff. Jake took his place at the helm, his mind focused on the task ahead. Failure was not an option. The journey to Zandera, Zorath's heavily fortified planet, was fraught with tension. The team remained silent, each member lost in their thoughts and preparations. Jake's mind wandered to Emily and the others, hoping they were holding on. Hours later, the Athena emerged from hyperspace near Zandera. The planet loomed ominously, its surface dotted with the intimidating structures of Zorath's palace. The ship's cloaking device engaged, and they began their descent. "Approaching landing zone," Lena announced, her fingers dancing over the controls. "Initiating stealth mode." Jake's eyes were fixed on the viewport, his resolve hardening with each passing second. "This is it, team. We get in, we get them out, and we make Zorath pay." The Athena touched down silently, and the team disembarked, their senses heightened by the hostile environment. The air was thick with tension, and the palace loomed like a dark sentinel in the distance. As they moved cautiously toward the palace, Jake's thoughts returned to Emily. He remembered their last conversation, her unwavering dedication to her research and her quiet strength. He vowed silently that he would not let her down. Inside the palace, Emily and the other women were held in a vast, dimly lit chamber. The oppressive atmosphere was palpable, and Emily could feel the fear and despair of those around her. She forced herself to stay calm, knowing that panic would only make things worse. "We need to find a way to communicate with Earth," Emily whispered to Sarah, who was clutching her arm tightly. "If we can get a message out, there's a chance the EDC can mount a rescue." Suddenly, the chamber door opened, and a tall, imposing figure entered. It was Zorath himself, his presence commanding and menacing. He looked over his captives with a cold, calculating gaze, his lips curling into a sinister smile. "Welcome to Zandera," Zorath said, his voice echoing through the chamber. "You are here because each of you possesses unique qualities that will contribute to my ultimate vision." Emily met his gaze with defiance, her mind racing with possibilities. She knew they had to act quickly if they were to have any chance of escape. And she knew, without a doubt, that Captain Jake Reynolds would not rest until they were free. The dim light of Zandera's twin moons cast eerie shadows across the alien landscape as the Athena's ramp descended with a soft hiss. Captain Jake Reynolds led his team into the planet's desolate terrain, his senses sharpened by the mission's urgency. Each step forward brought them closer to Zoratha's fortress, a colossal structure silhouetted against the night sky. "Stay alert," Jake whispered, his voice barely audible over the low hum of the stealth ship. His eyes scanned the horizon, wary of patrols and hidden dangers. Dr. Lena Harris adjusted the portable scanner strapped to her wrist, its screen flickering with streams of data. "We've got a narrow window before their security grid realigns. Let's make it count." Zara, her alien features hidden beneath a cloak, moved with practiced stealth. Her knowledge of the palace layout and security measures was invaluable. "This way," she directed, leading them toward a concealed entrance used by palace servants. The team slipped through the entrance, finding themselves in a dimly lit corridor. The walls were adorned with alien symbols and intricate designs, giving the place an otherworldly feel. The air was cool and tinged with a faint metallic scent. As they advanced, Jake couldn't shake the image of Emily and the other captives from his mind. Each step was a reminder of the stakes and the personal vendetta he carried against Zorath. He silently vowed that no one would be left behind. The corridor opened into a larger chamber, filled with advanced surveillance equipment. Lena paused, her fingers flying over the controls of her portable device. "Give me a moment. I can disable their internal sensors from here." Jake nodded, motioning for the rest of the team to stand guard. His thoughts drifted back to Earth, to the frantic days of preparation and the unwavering determination of the EDC. They had placed their trust in him, and he intended to deliver. "There," Lena whispered triumphantly. "We're off their radar for now. But we need to move quickly. This won't last long." They proceeded deeper into the palace, their movements synchronized and silent. The tension in the air was palpable, each corner turn revealing more of Zoratha's opulence and tyranny. Jake could almost feel the weight of the Emperor's gaze, as if the walls themselves were alive with his malevolent presence. In a quiet moment, Zara broke the silence. "I never thought I'd return here," she admitted, her voice tinged with a mix of sorrow and resolve. "Zoratha's greed for power twisted him into a monster. He needs to be stopped." Jake placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We will stop him. Together." They reached a grand hall, its vaulted ceiling adorned with alien constellations that glittered like a distant galaxy. The hall led to a staircase, spiraling down into the depths of the palace. The team descended cautiously, aware that they were nearing the heart of Zoratha's stronghold. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed from the hall above. Jake signaled for silence, his team pressing against the walls. The elite guards of Zorath appeared, their heavy boots striking the ground with military precision. Jake's heart pounded as the guards passed by, oblivious to the intruders just a breath away. Once the guards were out of sight, the team continued their descent, the air growing colder and more oppressive. The staircase led to a vast underground chamber, where the captives were held. The sight of the women, huddled together in fear, ignited a fierce determination in Jake. "There they are," Lena whispered, her voice filled with urgency. "We need to get them out now." Jake nodded, his gaze sweeping the room. Emily's eyes met his, a spark of hope lighting her face. But before they could act, a deep, resonant voice filled the chamber. "Welcome to Xandera, intruders!" Zora stood at the far end of the chamber, his imposing figure flanked by his elite guards. His eyes gleamed with a sinister delight, clearly relishing the confrontation. Jake stepped forward, his voice steady. "Zorath, this ends now. Release them, or face the consequences." Zorath's laughter echoed through the chamber, cold and mocking. "You are bold, human! But you have underestimated me." The tension in the room reached a breaking point as the team prepared for the inevitable clash. Jake's mind raced, formulating strategies and contingencies. This was the moment they had trained for, the moment they had anticipated with every fiber of their being. "Get ready," Jake whispered to his team, his resolve unshakable. "We fight for our people, for our freedom, and for every life Zorath has torn apart. We will not fail." The chamber erupted into chaos as Zorath's guards advanced. Jake and his team sprang into action, their movements precise and coordinated. The clash of weapons and the cries of battle filled the air, a testament to the high stakes of their mission. Emily and the other captives watched with a mix of fear and hope, their fate hanging in the balance. As the battle raged on, the team's determination and unity shone through, each member playing a critical role in the fight against tyranny. The outcome was uncertain, the odds stacked against them. But in that moment, united by a common cause and driven by an unyielding spirit, they fought with everything they had. The clang of metal against metal echoed through the underground chamber, as Captain Jake Reynolds and his team clashed with Zorath's elite guards. Each strike and parry resonated with the urgency of their mission. Emily Carter, huddled among the other captives, watched with a mix of hope and fear, her heart pounding in her chest. "Focus on the task at hand," Jake's voice boomed over the din. "Remember our objective." Lena Harris, the team's brilliant engineer, darted to a control panel at the room's edge. Her fingers flew over the alien symbols, attempting to override the security systems. Zara, the alien diplomat, fought fiercely beside Jake, her agility and combat skills proving invaluable against their armored foes. "We need to buy Lena more time," Jake shouted, deflecting a blow aimed at his head. He caught Zara's eye, a silent understanding passing between them. With a swift, calculated movement, Zara disarmed one of the guards, her eyes blazing with determination. "I'll cover her," she replied, positioning herself protectively in front of Lena. Emily's gaze shifted between Jake and Lena, her mind racing. She knew she couldn't remain a passive observer. "There must be something I can do," she whispered to herself, scanning the chamber for any potential aid. The air was thick with the scent of sweat and metal, the sounds of battle creating a chaotic symphony. The tension was palpable, every second ticking away precious time. Lena's hands trembled slightly as she worked, her concentration unwavering despite the turmoil around her. Come on, Lena muttered, her eyes narrowing at the complex alien interface. Finally, a series of beeps signaled her success. "I've got it! The internal defenses are down." Jake's face lit up with a fierce grin. "Great work, Lena. Now let's get those captives out of here." The guards, sensing their disadvantage, redoubled their efforts. The room seemed to shrink as the battle intensified. Zara fought with an almost balletic grace, her movements fluid and precise. Jake's strength and tactical prowess were on full display, every action calculated to protect his team and achieve their goal. Suddenly, a new group of figures emerged from the shadows, rebels within Zoratha's ranks who had chosen this moment to make their stand. Their leader, a tall, rugged figure with a scar running down his cheek, raised his weapon and shouted, "For freedom and justice!" The rebels charged, their arrival shifting the battle's momentum. With their help, Jake and his team began to push back the elite guards. Emily seized the opportunity, rushing to help the other captives to their feet. "Stay together," she urged. "We're getting out of here." The combined forces of the rebels and Jake's team created a formidable front. The tide of the battle turned in their favor, but the danger was far from over. Zorath, watching from a raised platform, sneered down at the scene, his eyes cold and calculating. "You think you can defy me?" Zorath's voice was a chilling, resonant force. "You are nothing but insects beneath my feet." Jake's jaw clenched. "We're more than you could ever understand, Zorath. We're fighting for freedom, for each other. That's something you'll never have." Zorath descended the steps, his presence commanding and sinister. "Then you will die together," he spat, drawing a weapon that glowed with an ominous energy. The room fell silent as Zorath approached, his elite guards forming a protective circle around him. The rebels and Jake's team tightened their formation, prepared for the final confrontation. Jake stepped forward, his resolve unshaken. "This ends now, Zorath. We won't let you win." With a roar, the battle resumed, more intense than ever. Zorath's weapon unleashed powerful blasts, forcing Jake and his team to dodge and weave. The rebels fought valiantly, their determination mirroring that of their newfound allies. In the midst of the chaos, Lena's sharp eyes caught sight of a structural weakness in the chamber's ceiling. "Jake!" she shouted. "If we can bring down the ceiling, we can trap Zorath and his guards." Jake nodded, understanding the risk but seeing the necessity. "Do it, Lena. Everyone else, cover her." The team rallied around Lena as she prepared a makeshift explosive device. Emily, helping where she could, felt a surge of adrenaline and purpose. Together, they fought to keep Zorath's forces at bay long enough for Lena to complete her task. "Almost there," Lena muttered, her hands steady despite the chaos around her. She set the charge and took a deep breath. "Get clear!" With a deafening explosion, the ceiling collapsed, dust and debris filling the chamber. The rebels and Jake's team retreated, guiding the captives to safety. Zorath's enraged roar echoed through the crumbling structure as he was buried under the wreckage. Breathless and battered, the group emerged into the cold night air of Zandera. Jake looked over his team, pride and relief evident in his eyes. "We did it," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "We brought them home." Emily stepped forward, her eyes meeting Jake's. "Thank you," she said softly. "You saved us all." Jake nodded, his gaze firm. "This is just the beginning. Zorath's reign is far from over. But tonight, we won a victory. For humanity, and for hope." The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter as they prepared to return to Earth, united by their triumph and ready for the battles yet to come. The Athena glided silently through the void of space, the stars flickering like distant beacons of hope. Inside, Captain Jake Reynolds and his team prepared for their final confrontation. The successful rescue of Dr. Emily Carter and the other captives had given them a renewed sense of purpose, but they knew the battle against Zorath was far from over. Jake stood at the helm, his eyes fixed on the holographic map of Zorath's flagship, the Dominator. It loomed large, an intimidating symbol of the Emperor's power. "This is it," he said, turning to his team. "We take down Zorath today. For good." Dr. Lena Harris nodded, her expression resolute. "I've modified our weapons to penetrate their shields. We'll have a short window to get inside before they can react." Zara, the alien diplomat, adjusted her cloak. "Zorath won't expect a direct assault. His arrogance will be his downfall." Emily stepped forward, her gaze steady. "We're ready. Whatever it takes, we end this now." The tension in the air was palpable as the team suited up and prepared for the assault. The Athena approached the Dominator, slipping past its outer defenses with the stealth technology Lena had perfected. The ship shuddered as it docked, and the team moved swiftly, their movements synchronized and purposeful. Inside the Dominator, the corridors were cold and sterile, filled with the hum of advanced machinery. The team advanced cautiously, every sense heightened. The plan was simple: disable the ship's power core, crippling Zorath's fleet, and giving them a chance to confront the Emperor directly. As they navigated the labyrinthine passageways, Jake's thoughts were a whirlwind of strategies and contingencies. He couldn't afford to make a single mistake. Stay focused, he reminded them. We're almost there. The power core chamber was heavily guarded, as expected. Elite soldiers patrolled the area, their expressions blank and disciplined. Jake signaled for silence, his hand gestures directing the team into position. Lena set up her equipment, ready to disrupt the power flow. The first guard fell silently, a precise shot from Zara's blaster. The team moved with lethal efficiency, each member executing their role flawlessly. Within moments, they had neutralized the immediate threat, but the real challenge lay ahead. Lena, now! Jake ordered, his eyes scanning for any signs of reinforcements. Lena's hands moved quickly, tapping into the power core's control panel. Sparks flew as she overrode the system, her face illuminated by the flickering lights. Just a few more seconds, she muttered, her concentration unwavering. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Zoratha's voice boomed over the intercom, filled with fury. Intruders! You dare defy me? Prepare to meet your end! Jake's heart raced as he tightened his grip on his weapon. We need to move. Lena, status? Almost there, she replied, her fingers flying over the controls. Done! The power core is destabilized. We have minutes before this place goes dark. The team regrouped and made their way toward the bridge, where Zorath awaited. The corridors were now teeming with guards, but the team pushed forward, driven by sheer determination. The sounds of battle echoed around them, a symphony of chaos and resolve. As they burst into the bridge, Zora stood at the center, his eyes blazing with hatred. You've come far, but this is where it ends, he snarled, raising a weapon of alien design. Jake stepped forward, his voice steady. This ends with your reign, Zorath. Surrender, and we might spare your life. Zorath laughed, a cold, mirthless sound. You underestimate my power. I will crush you. The fight that ensued was fierce and unforgiving. Jake and Zorath clashed in a brutal duel, their movements a blur of strength and strategy. Lena and Zara engaged the remaining guards, their teamwork seamless and effective. Emily provided cover, her precise shots keeping the enemy at bay. With a final, desperate lunge, Jake disarmed Zorath, sending his weapon clattering across the floor. The Emperor fell to his knees, his expression a mixture of shock and rage. You can't do this, he gasped. Jake looked down at Zorath, his face hard. It's over. Your tyranny ends here. As the ship's power core began to fail, the lights flickered and dimmed. The team gathered around Zorath, their victory bittersweet. They had won, but the cost had been high. Let's get out of here, Jake said, his voice filled with both relief and exhaustion. We've done what we came to do. The Athena departed the Dominator just as the flagship began to crumble, its systems failing one by one. The team watched in silence as Zoratha's symbol of power was reduced to wreckage, a testament to their triumph. Back on Earth, they were greeted as heroes. The news of Zoratha's defeat spread quickly, igniting hope and celebration across the planet. Jake stood with his team, the weight of their journey finally lifting. We did it, Emily said softly, her eyes shining with gratitude. We really did it. Jake nodded, a rare smile breaking through his stoic demeanor. Yes, we did. And this is just the beginning. Together, we'll face whatever comes next. The future was uncertain, but for now, they had won a significant victory. Humanity had stood up against tyranny and emerged victorious, their unity and resilience a beacon for all. As the sun set over the horizon, they looked forward to a new dawn, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.